My name is Rebecca. 3 years ago at a family dinner, my father-in-law looked across the table and told me it was time I quit my job. "You have a family now," he said, like it was already decided. "A woman's place is here, taking care of the house, taking care of the children we hope you'll have soon, not chasing some career that pulls you away from what actually matters." I had spent 6 years building a career in digital marketing. I wasn't famous, wasn't rich, but I was good at what I did, and I loved it. My husband, Mark, sat next to me that night and said nothing. Not one word in my defense. Later, in the car, he told me his father just wanted what was best for the family, and maybe I should think about it for the sake of peace. I quit 2 months later, not because I agreed with them, but because the pressure never stopped. The comments at every dinner, the disappointed looks, the constant reminders that I was somehow failing at being a wife by having ambitions outside their house. I told myself I was choosing peace. Looking back, I think I was just exhausted from fighting alone. For the first few months, I did what was expected. I cooked, I cleaned, I hosted family dinners every Sunday exactly the way my mother-in-law liked them. But something in me wasn't willing to disappear completely. Late at night, after everyone was asleep, I started freelancing quietly, small marketing projects for local businesses. Nothing that would draw attention. Nothing that violated the unspoken rule that my real job now was the house. I told no one, not because I was ashamed, but because I was tired of defending myself to people who had already decided who I was allowed to be. What started as a few $100s a month from small local clients slowly grew. I built a simple website. I got my first referral, then another. By the end of the first year, I had 6 regular clients and a wait list. I quietly managed from my phone, while doing laundry, while waiting for appointments, while everyone assumed I was simply keeping busy. Mark's family ran a mid-sized home goods distribution business, his father's pride and joy, built over 25 years, employing around 30 people. At every family gathering, business talk dominated the table. Revenue numbers, new contracts, competitor struggles, spoken openly, proudly, as if business success was something only they were capable of. I sat through hundreds of these dinners, nodding, saying little, while my own numbers grew quietly in a spreadsheet nobody knew existed. By year 2, I wasn't just freelancing anymore. I had built a small agency, 3 contractors working under me, a growing roster of clients across 2 states, systems and processes I'd taught myself late at night through online courses. Mark's family would have laughed at, if they'd known. I registered the business formally. I opened a separate business account. I told Mark eventually, because hiding it from him specifically felt wrong. He was surprised, then quietly supportive, though he asked me gently, but clearly not to mention it to his parents yet. They wouldn't understand, he said. "Let's just keep the peace." I agreed, though something in me was starting to run out of patience for peace that only ever seemed to require my silence. By year 3, my agency was profitable in a way I hadn't expected. Not enormous, not headline-making, but solid, steady contracts. A small office I rented downtown. A real team of 5 people who depended on me for their paychecks. I was, by any reasonable measure, running a more profitable business than I'd ever imagined possible from a laptop at my kitchen table at midnight. The truth came out by accident, the way most hidden things eventually do. Mark's father was going through a difficult stretch. A major client had pulled a contract. Cash flow was tight, and at a tense Sunday dinner, he vented about needing a new marketing strategy, complaining that the digital stuff his competitors were doing was eating into his business, and he didn't understand any of it. Mark, without thinking it through, said quietly, "Rebecca could probably help you with that. She runs a marketing agency." The table went silent. My mother-in-law actually laughed, assuming it was a joke, until she saw my face. I didn't gloat. I didn't bring up the years of comments about my real job. I simply explained calmly what my business did, how long I'd been running it, and the kind of results we typically got for clients in similar industries. My father-in-law's expression shifted slowly from confusion to something quieter. Not quite pride, not quite shame, somewhere uncomfortable in between. He didn't hire my agency. His pride wouldn't allow that, not right away. But 3 weeks later, he called Mark, privately, and asked if Rebecca might be willing to just take a look at their marketing, informally, as a favor. I did take a look. I gave honest professional advice, the same advice I'd have given any client. I didn't need him to hire me to know what I had built was real. At dinner a few weeks later, my mother-in-law asked me almost carefully how I found the time to build something like that while running the house. I told her the truth. I found the time at midnight and on weekends, and in every spare moment nobody thought to ask me about. Because building something of my own was never something I was willing to fully give up, even when I was told it wasn't my place. Things aren't perfect now. My father-in-law still struggles sometimes to fully acknowledge what I do as real work the way he does his own business. Old habits, old beliefs don't disappear overnight, but he stopped telling me to quit. He stopped assuming my ambition was something to be managed rather than respected. And Mark, to his credit, apologized. Really apologized. Not the vague kind, for staying silent that first night at dinner 3 years ago, for asking me to shrink myself for the sake of peace that was never really peace at all. I didn't build my business to prove anyone wrong. I built it because some part of me refused to disappear completely, even when the people who were supposed to support me asked me to. Turns out, that part of me was worth more than anyone at that dinner table ever gave it credit for. If this story felt familiar, hit subscribe. New stories of quiet strength every single day. And tell me in the comments, have you ever had to rebuild something of your own, while everyone assumed you'd already given up?